Yes, it's very cold out here. It's winter. As you can see, I'm bundled up. I hate it when it's cold. I become very miserable when I'm cold and when I'm hungry. So, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. Very much appreciated. Today, we're going to talk about North Korea and Russia. Hold on. This is very important for us. Why? Because we need an African version of the story. Yes, you can watch it from CNN, BBC, whatever. But what they're going to tell you is probably going to be different from what you're going to hear here. Okay, so we try to be as much as possible in the middle because we don't care about the side. We don't care about that side. We just care about ourselves. We are pro-Africans. So as African, we need to have our view of what's happening, of the narrative, and understand. So 2 days ago, I believe we spoke about President of Russia going to North Korea in response to what Joe Biden did when he sent weapons to Ukraine, allowing Ukrainians to bomb inside Russia. They had never done it in the past. That was a changer, a big changer of the game. And then Russia, in response, sent a submarine to Cuba to threaten them. It's a show of force, saying to them, you know what, if you can send weapons to Ukraine and allow them to bomb us in our country, we can send our submarine that's nuclear powered, nuclear capable, meaning the submarine can shoot a nuclear missile into Florida very quickly. The distance between Florida and Cuba is just about 660 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles. I know Americans go crazy about meters and kilometers. We go crazy about miles. Like, why do you use miles? Why can't you just use kilometers? Come on, man. Stop that. Anyway, let's carry on. So the Russian president said, why are you allowing these people to use their weapons against me? I could do the same. I could send weapons to people that don't like you so they can bomb you. If you think you're hurting me by sending weapons to Ukraine and telling Ukrainians to use those weapons into Moscow, into Russia, well, we could do the same. How about that? You have enemies too. How about we give those enemies weapons that can reach your countries and see how it goes?
We think that if someone thinks it is possible to supply such weapons to a combat zone to strike at our territory and create problems for us, why do we not have the right to supply our weapons of the same class to those regions of the world where there will be strikes on the sensitive facilities of those countries that are doing this against Russia?
Well, that's exactly what the Russian president has done, or is in a way of doing right now. So he's gone to North Korea. He was accepted and met with great chants. So many people in the airport. They put on a lot of money into that. You can clearly see. The goal was very clear for Kim Jong-un. He wanted to impress. He wanted to show the Russian president, hey, you are a friend. Why would he do that? Because Kim Jong-un is not liked by anybody. Anybody of the West, all of them hate Kim Jong-un. Because he doesn't want to play the game that everybody's playing. He wants to be independent. He wants to keep his culture. He wants his country to stay his country. That's the problem. Now, because Kim Jong-un has been put to the side for many, many years, his country is not allowed to export. They cannot buy from no country. They cannot import from no country. So the West have tried to asphyxiate the economy of the country, hoping that the people will rise up against their leaders and open the country. Because most Western countries are capitalistic countries. And what does this mean? This simply means businesses and enterprises like KFC and McDonald's and Walmart and all that can enter the country and make profit. Now, North Korea doesn't want that. There's no KFC in North Korea. There is no McDonald's in North Korea. There's no H&M, no Walmart, nothing. Amazon doesn't exist. So the business people cannot make money. Now, why are the business people important? Because the business people are the people that finances some of the government, at least government people. Yes. So many politicians get fundings and money and profit from businesses. Then once you get money from somebody, what do? You help them grow their business. Let me give you a simple example. Weapons in America are not constructed by the army. The army doesn't build weapons. Who build the weapons? Private companies. Private companies build the weapons. Then how do they proceed? Private company will go see a governor or a prominent politician and give them funding for election. Say, okay, you're running for election. Here's $20 million we're giving you for you to win the election. And once you win the election, you know what to do. You make sure our business do good. How is that possible? If we sell weapons, then if there's war somewhere, You make sure we get our weapons sale. If the American army needs equipment, you can contact us and get us the contract. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Great. Now, North Korea doesn't want that in their country. They want to stay their own way. Do they have the right to do that? Question mark. You can answer that. Now, Russian president went to North Korea. You could see them fly the Russian flag. You could see them put Vladimir Putin's pictures on walls. The whole nation was outside because the message was clear. We are your friends. Don't they say the enemy of your enemy is your friend? That's exactly what's happened. That's why I always say, friends, you must try avoid to piss everybody off. Whether it's at work or with friends, you can have your own ways of living, but don't piss everybody off. You can have one enemy. Don't put everybody in the same box. Trust me, what's going to happen? They're going to come together against you. Isn't this exactly what's happening with North Korea and Russia and Cuba and Venezuela? You know what I'm saying? The Russian president discussed with his counterpart from North Korea, had a long discussion, a beautiful drive together, laughing like friends. And they've signed an agreement to protect each other. It's a NATO-like treaty, meaning if anybody dares to attack North Korea, Russia is compelled to defend North Korea. And if anybody dares to come to Russia that way, North Korea will react. We know North Korea is a rogue country. You know what they say, a rogue country. Rogue simply means, in this case, it cannot be controlled. They will not allow us to tell them what to do. That's a rogue country most of the time. Now, South Korea is very angry at Russia. They're saying now they're considering sending weapons to Ukraine after Russia signed a treaty with North Korea.
Once again, that any direct or indirect assistance or cooperation that enhances North Korea's military capability is a clear violation of the multiple UN Security Council resolutions. And it is indeed deplorable that a permanent member of the Security Council, which had agreed to the adoption of these resolutions, is now acting in violation of the resolutions.
Listen to Vladimir Putin.
As for the supply of lethal weapons to the war zone in Ukraine, that would be a very big mistake. I hope that this will not happen. And if it does happen, then we will also take appropriate decisions, which are unlikely to please the current leadership of South Korea.
So Putin is clearly saying that South Korea is making a big mistake by trying to send weapons to Ukraine. Now my question to you is this: do you really think South Korea by itself decided to say we're going to send weapons to Ukraine, or they've been encouraged by somebody to do that? You let me know how you feel. Initially, many people feel like by saying that Russia will provide North Korea with certain technology, many people don't think that Vladimir Putin was trying to endanger South Korea. His idea was to threaten the West, mainly, because he has no beef with South Korea. But obviously, by giving North Korea weapons, you also endanger South Korea. Now, is South Korea right by saying, you know what, because you've done this, I'm going to send weapons to Ukraine? You tell me how you feel about this. And the question is, why would South Korea do that? Because even if South Korea sent weapons to Ukraine, will that change anything to the war landscape? If Putin is defeated, then great. What if he's not defeated? If I was South Korea, I think I wouldn't do anything. I'll just shut up, hoping that, you know what, Putin changes his mind, or at least speaks to North Korea and say, you know what, please do not attack South Korea with these weapons. Because by you sending weapons to Ukraine, you're saying to Putin to say, tell him to bomb him too. You know what I'm saying? Because you can send weapons to North Korea and still tell him, I'm sending you weapons to threaten America. Your weapons are not to bomb South Korea. You understand what I mean? Now, the American government has reacted to this because they don't like it. They say this is concerning.
We're not surprised about this continuing burgeoning of this relationship. It's something that we're going to monitor closely. And again, you know, what you have seen in the past is the DPRK providing Russia with munitions that are being employed in Ukraine, killing Ukrainians and supporting Russia's illegal war. So again, definitely concerning for all those nations that respect sovereignty, respect the rule of law.
Is it concerning because somebody else has just done exactly what you just done a few days ago? Is it concerning because North Korea and Russia have done exactly what you are doing on the other side? Or is it concerning for something else? Because if you punch me in the face, I probably am going to punch you in the face too, so you can feel what it feels like. If you send your weapons next to my border, I'm probably going to send my nuclear weapon also next to your border so you can feel as threatened as I feel. Now, if you send somebody a knife to stick me with, I'm probably going to ask your enemy as well to take a knife and tell him, you know what, you can use it like you want. Because Putin says, the West says we just give weapons to Ukraine. We are not responsible on how they use it. Putin says, well, I could also do the same. I could send weapons to somebody else who hates you and say, well, I don't know how they're going to use it. Now, I want to know from you, how do you feel about this? Why would this become concerning if Ukraine and Russia were left alone to deal with their own issue? The other question is, we do understand the pain of Ukrainians and they do not deserve the war that they're going through. We also believe that Ukrainians should defend themselves, facing anything historically that makes sense within the frame of international laws. We believe that the Ukrainian people have the right to be sovereign. But do we believe that the entire world should go to war because there's war in Ukraine? I don't know if many people believe in that, because there are many wars in many places in the world. There's a war in the Congo. Nobody talks about it. There's war in Sahel. Not many people talking about it. Now, should we all get into a world war because there's a war between Ukrainians and Russians? I don't know if you want it. Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. God bless.